What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I have been doing a little shopping, specifically book shopping lately, and I picked up I think 6 new books and I wanted to share them all with you. So this little haul, I guess we'll call it, has been built up from vacation. When I went to the campus bookstore to return my textbooks, I used the money I got back from my textbooks to buy some books, and also one of them I ordered online because I need the second book in a certain series that I read last month. So without further ado, let's check out what I got. Alright, first things first are the books that I got from the campus bookstore, and the first one is one that I've really wanted for quite a while and will probably end up doing a reading vlog on. Honestly, there are a couple in here that I will probably end up doing a reading vlog on, and the first one is The Spanish Love Deception. This book has been raved and raved and raved about. Catalina Martin desperately needs a date to her sister's wedding, especially since her little white lie about her American boyfriend has spiraled out of control. Now everyone she knows, including her ex and his fiance, will be there and eager to meet him. She has only 4 weeks to find someone willing to cross the Atlantic and aid in her deception. New York to Spain is no short flight, and her ruckus family won't be easy to fool. Enter Erin Blackford, her tall, handsome, condescending colleague who surprisingly offers to step in. She'd rather refuse. Never has there been a more aggravating, blood-boiling, and insufferable man. But Catalina is desperate, and as the wedding draws nearer, Erin looks like her best option, and she begins to realize he might not be as terrible in the real world as he is at the office. So, we got a little bit of enemies to lovers, workplace romance, and they're going to Europe. I love Europe. I went on a study abroad in 2018. And it was amazing, and I think hopefully I might be going to Europe again next summer. So if you want to see that next year, definitely go ahead and hit subscribe because we will be vlogging it, don't worry. But this is like way up there on my TBR now to be read very, very soon because I love the summary and I love the Europe vibes. So yeah, this is going on the top of the list. Next is a Colleen Hoover book. It's actually her most recent release, and that is Reminders of Him. I love Colleen Hoover. She is literally probably my favorite author of all time, and so I had to pick up her new book, and this book has been ranted and raved about all over TikTok recently, especially some of the girls that I like to follow, so I needed to know what was going on. A young mother fights to earn a place in her child's life, but is there room for her? After serving 5 years in prison for a tragic mistake, Kenna Rowan returns to the town where it all went wrong, hoping to reunite with her 4-year-old daughter. But the bridges Kenna burned are proving impossible to rebuild. Everyone in her daughter's life is determined to shut Kenna out, no matter how hard she works to prove herself. The only person who hasn't closed the door on her completely is Ledger Ward, a local bar owner and one of the few remaining links to Kenna's daughter. But if anyone were to discover how Ledger is slowly becoming an important part of Kenna's life, both would risk losing the trust of everyone important to them. The two form a connection despite the pressure surrounding them, but as their romance grows, so does the risk. Kenna must find a way to absolve the mistakes of her past in order to build a future out of hope and healing. So I really need to know what she did wrong to go to jail. Kind of worried about it. And also, she must have been pregnant when she went to prison, like very early, because if she was in prison for 5 years and her daughter's 4, then she had her daughter like in the first year that she was in prison. Might do a reading vlog on this one too if you guys are interested in that. Next book we got is a fantasy book, a start of another new series that I want to read, and that is The Cruel Prince. The ACOTAR series has been getting me back into fantasy, so I wanted to grab another one and see how this one is as well. So I know that this one is kind of a similar magic system. I know they have fairies in both. So That's why I kind of gravitated towards this series. Sharpen your blade, harden your heart. Jude was 7 when her parents were murdered, and she and her 2 sisters were stolen away to live in the treacherous high court of Fairy. 10 years later, Jude wants nothing more than to belong there, but many of the Fae despise humans, especially Prince Cardan, the youngest and wickedest son of the High King. To win a place at the court, Jude must defy him and face the consequences. From #1 New York Times best-selling author Holly Black comes the first book in a stunning trilogy filled with twists and enchantment as one girl learns the true meaning of power. So, this is going on the list, but I do think I'm going to finish my ACOTAR series first, because I feel like with how complicated these books can get, and especially them being similar systems of magic, I would probably get confused. So with that being said, I have the second book in the ACOTAR series, because I just finished the first book last month and I was so obsessed, and I know that things just get crazier in this one. I've been told that this book is something that you have to have a stone cold face to be able to read this in public. So we have this giant bad boy here, and I'm so ready to read it. Feyre has undergone more trials than one human woman can carry in her heart. Though she's now been granted the power and lifespan of the High Fae, she is haunted by her time under the mountain and the terrible deeds she performed to save the lives of Tamlin and his people. As her marriage to Tamlin approaches, Feyre's hollowness and nightmares consume her. She finds herself split into 2 different people, one who upholds her bargain with Rhysand, High Lord of the feared Night Court, and one who lives out her life in the Spring Court with Tamlin. While Feyre navigates a dark web of politics, passion, and a dazzling power, a great evil looms. She might just be the key to stopping it, but only if she can harness her harrowing gifts, heal her fractured soul, and decide how she wishes to shape her future, and the future of a world in turmoil. Pretty interesting. I've been told that Rhysand is like man goals, so I was very Team Tamlin in the last book, but I think that might end up changing just a little bit based off what I know about the series already, because it's hard to stay away from spoilers like that on TikTok. The last 2 are the books that I got while I was on vacation in Florida. They was this super cute bookstore. If you haven't seen the vlog from it, I will link it up here so you can check it out. But it was so adorable and like a little small towny, and they had a Colleen Hoover cart. So I had to pick some up, you know, my favorite girl. So first one that I picked up was very in theme with where I was, and that is Heartbones. This one I know takes place in a beachy location, very summer vibes. Probably will be reading this in the next month or so because I just really want to read all of my like summery vibe stuff this summer. So whenever I figured out that Colleen Hoover had a summer beach book, we just had to read it. Bea comes from a life of poverty and neglect. Samson from a family of wealth. When the 2 find themselves spending the summer as neighbors, they soon realize money is one of the few things that they don't have in common. Their bond is too intense to ignore, but with only the summer separating them from the start of their new lives on opposite ends of the country, Bea and Samson decide to stay in the shallow end of a summer fling. What they don't realize is that a rip current is coming, and it's about to drag both their hearts out to sea. Colleen Hoover is notorious for her plot twists, so I really want to know what this rip current is about and see what happens. She's not a super thick book, so I feel like it's going to be kind of an easy read to get through. It's only 324 pages, and this will help me keep out of reading slumps, because thick books like this will put me in a reading slump sometimes because I will get depressed when it's over. So if I'm going to do that just off the second book, I don't even want to know what's going to happen when I read the rest of the series. Little books like this are my savior, so we got to stock up on those. And the last book that I bought on vacation, and the last book of this video, is a little bit different from Coho, but it is still a Coho book. That is Verity. I think I might wait to read this book when it gets to be more like fall because I know it's a little suspenseful and like thrillery. So I kind of want to wait until like, you know, Halloween season to read it, but I went ahead and picked it up because I just wanted it, so I did. Lowen Ashley is a struggling writer on the brink of financial ruin when she accepts the job offer of a lifetime. Jeremy Crawford, husband of best-selling author Verity Crawford, has hired Lowen to complete the remaining books in a successful series his injured wife is unable to finish. Lowen arrives at the Crawford home, ready to sort through years of Verity's notes and outline, hoping to find enough material to get her started. What Lowen doesn't expect to uncover in the chaotic office is an unfinished autobiography Verity never intended for anyone to read. Page after page of bone-chilling admissions, including Verity's recollection of the night her family was forever altered. Lowen decides to keep the manuscript hidden from Jeremy, knowing its contents could devastate the already grieving father. But as Lowen's feelings for Jeremy begin to intensify, she recognizes all the ways she could benefit if he were to read his wife's words. After all, no matter how devoted Jeremy is to his injured wife, a truth this horrifying would make it impossible for him to continue loving her. A standalone romantic thriller from the #1 New York Times best-selling author Colleen Hoover. I don't know what's about to happen in this book, but with him being a grieving father and her having secrets that would make it impossible for him to continue to love her, I'm a little concerned that this woman may have killed her children, or at least one of her children. Is that just me thinking this? But that's what I'm getting from this. That would be my first instinct for what the plot twist is going to be, personally. So we're definitely reading this in the fall, but I'm going to wait on it because I want it to be like an October or September read. But very interested in what's going to happen in here because I just want to know what this life-altering stuff is and this secrets that would make it impossible for him to continue to love her. Very intriguing, Coho. Very intriguing. Alright, so that is all of the books that I've bought recently. They are definitely all going on my TBR. Pretty much my TBR is now endless. I have so many books that I want to read and so many that I just keep wanting to buy. So we're never going to finish that thing, but it's okay because, you know, I want one of those like super cool library walls with like the ladder that like slides around when me and my boyfriend finally get a house together in a couple years. So I'm just preemptively building my collection and having fun with it along the way. So, you know, it's an addiction that's not hurting anybody. I don't really care. I have fun with it. So these bad boys are everything that I've bought recently. If you guys are interested in seeing any of them in a reading vlog, let me know in the comments down below. If you want to know what I think about them after I've read them, they will probably be in a monthly reading wrap-up coming shortly, so be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on those. And like the video if you have read any of these books and enjoyed them. I would love to know, but don't leave me any spoilers in the comments because I like to be surprised. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!